And this is probably the number one like confusion or like the challenge that stratters have, or if you're new to the strat, the concept of,
Mm,
okay, the strat says if it breaks the high, I'm supposed to get in. But why is it that every single time it breaks the high and I get in, price goes down, right?
mm,
And it
mm.
happens literally, it will happen like almost 70% of the time.
If I'm marking a position, like, I can see that the previous candle high there, if it crosses that, then I want to enter.
Okay.
So far, so good. I understand that. So I'm setting up an alert that if the candle crosses that alert, I want to be there, right? So I want to enter.
Okay.
Now, I've always experienced with the spread that whenever price goes up, I enter, it immediately reverses.
Uh-huh.
So I'm thinking, okay, like, am I looking for price to close? Am I looking for a lower? Do I go to a lower time frame, like at the 5 minute, the 1 minute, the 15 minute? How do I organize that, right? Because sometimes if I go to the 15 minute and say, okay, like, I know it's hit that trend line and it's going up, I'm going to go down to the 15 minute and then I'm going to wait for that 15 minute to close. Then I see, the move is already gone. Right? It hit the previous target.
Yeah.
So I just don't know how to handle that situation. I'm just a bit confused.
And this is probably the number one like confusion or like a challenge that stratters have, or if you're new to the strat, the concept of, okay, the strat says if it breaks the high, I'm supposed to get in. But why is it that every single time it breaks the high and I get in, price goes down, right? And it happens literally, it will happen like almost 70% of the time. I just want to say that. And the reason why I say such a high number is because I want to try to now change your mindset where you now know that exists. So what is going on? Because it was an amazing revelation for me too. I'm like, why is it that it triggers, but then it comes down? Now, how many times have you seen price trigger, it goes down, and later on it goes back up and does what it needs to do?
Almost 9 out of 10. That's what has been so frustrating. It almost happens all the time. It'll go up, it'll hit my stop loss, I'm out of the game, and then suddenly my thesis was right. It's shot up and hit target.
So it happens to the best of us. Now, this is what is going on, or this is my interpretation of it. Remember how I said that you're taking the trade as a daily participant, right? And you're looking at the daily time frame, so you're looking for the candle to break the previous day high. What I realized, that's where the whole notion of me saying the play is going to take at least a day, because what happens is when it triggers it, when in the at open, it now comes down, but then 2 hours later it goes up and goes to target. If it triggers and if I just stay in the trade, more times than not it will go to target. But I don't want to just say that, like, just take that off the whim, like, oh, just stay in the trade. What's actually going on? So that's where the whole notion of the thesis, that your thesis has to invalidate. So it goes from, if price breaks 181.50, you take calls. No, the reason why you're taking the trade is not because the price broke 181.50. You're taking the trade because price broke 2 up on the day off of a daily signal. So you expect price to go to the next previous high until proven otherwise. Now, the until proven otherwise is if your thesis gets invalidated by a reversal candle. Now, let me explain. The reason why we like Amazon is because we have a hammer on the day, we have full time frame continuity, so we're looking for a 2-2 continuation to the upside. Does that make sense so far?
Absolutely.
What would reverse a 2-2 continuation to the upside?
It would be the price going reversing down below 178.20.
You are 100% correct. We're actually trying to quantify, or what we're trying to say is that price needs to actually reverse the signal that we anticipate. So if we want a 2-2 continuation on the day, what's the exact opposite of that, or the reversal of that would be a 2-2 reversal on the day. So what reverses our thesis of price going a 2-2 continuation would be the exact opposite in price breaking 178.75. Now let me ask you something. Based off that premise, if price breaks 181.50 and you're now in calls, where should your stop loss be?
At the 178.75.
Ding, 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 ding. That's your stop loss. So this is because your thesis is that you want a 2-2 continuation. If it triggers, if then, those if then statement, if then, right? So if Amazon triggers a 2-2 up on a day, that therefore triggers a 2-2 continuation. What reverses a 2-2 continuation is a 2-2 reversal. So what would have to reverse that thesis is if you do a 2-2 reversal, which means what reverses that thesis would have to be price going below 178.75.
Got it. Yeah.
Because how many times you'll see, and you literally will see this all the time, where price will trigger, come down right here, and go right back up.
Yeah.
Now, let me add another element to that. We also add the 50% rule. You'll always hear me say that you should mark the 50% of your trigger candle or your thesis candle. So whatever candle is your thesis on, you want to draw the 50% mark. Now, why do you think you want to do that? Why is that? Why?
If the price is above 0.5, it's most likely going to go up. If it goes below the 0.5, it's most likely going to go down.
Yes, you are 100% correct. So I want you to think about that same thing you just said. If we trigger 2 up on the day for Amazon and price now goes down below 50%, price is more likely to go down. The reason why we use 50% as a guideline, because although 178.75 is the true stop loss, you'll hear me say, I'm blanking, level of reassessment. You'll hear me talk about the level of reassessment, and that's usually in most cases the 50% of the thesis candle. And the reason why is because if price gets to 180 or below 180.13, you now know that 178.75 is more likely to become a target rather than the 180.50 or back above 181.50. So because you now know that the percentage increase of you hitting that 178.75 just got increased because you're now below 50%, you can choose to get out of the trade earlier.
Okay, so that means that that's your mental stop, right? So you can say, and the base of that wick is your actual stop.
Yes. Yes.
I got it.
Now, I'm gonna add the third element to this, and I apologize if it gets confusing. So not only are you just waiting for the 180.13, you need to have a candle close below 180.13, that 50%, because oftentimes you will see, just like in this example right here with this inside day, look at how price broke the upside, and this is the downside right here. And if you were to mark it 50%, you see how price did break below 50%? Oftentimes this will, and it will induce people to say, oh no, it's going against you, get out. But we will always say, nope, you have to wait for the candle to close. If you are a daily participant, you need to wait for if the next candle triggers 2 up on the day, you need to wait for that day to close. If it closes below 180.13, right? So literally, and people will ask this question, wait, I have to wait for the day to close, but I won't know until market close. What if it's below 180.13 on market close? I'll literally say, yes, you have to wait. So that means you have to wait the following day to get out of your position. Some people would get mad. They're like, wait, why would I wait if I know it's going to be a loser? And I would question it and I'll say, you don't know that though, because majority of the time they allow price to break below that 50% to induce people to get out of their position just for it to wick it back up at the end of the day. How many times have you seen the 30-minute or the power hour or the last 10-minute run up for the market, where all of a sudden we're consolidating for the whole day, or the whole day, in the last 30 minutes they decide to just run up?
Exactly.
Yes. That is why we wait for the close. And it may sound scary because it's like, oh my gosh, I have to wait, especially when we start talking about the weekly participants or the monthly participants, and I start saying you have to wait for the weekly close. And someone will say, wait, but it's Tuesday, it's Wednesday, and we're below 50% of the previous week. I still have to wait? And I'm like, yep, because on Friday, watch them wick it back up above 50%.
Yeah, exactly. You got to stomach the week, right?
You got to stomach the week. Yes. Now, how do you put yourself in a position to be able to stomach it, right? That's when the whole sizing matters comes into a play, where I tell people, hey, if you want to be a weekly participant, you need to know it can take at least a week to play out. Are you comfortable with putting that much capital, or however much capital, in that particular play with the notion that it could take that long? And that's when we start talking about in the future, how like the whole planning for the trade and knowing that, okay, before you even take the trade, this could last at least 6 weeks, a month. So, you know what, instead of me going heavy, let me just go 50% of my normal position size because it can take that long.